John, good to have you here again. Let's just start with the basics. We hear saint all the time. What exactly is a saint? What does it mean to the Catholic Church?
Well, in Catholic theology, TJ, a saint is somebody who is already in heaven with God and who is capable of receiving prayers from people who can bring their worries, their troubles, their needs to that saint, and then that saint will intercede with God to try to give them some help. So, if you like, this is a way of introducing a new friend in heaven to the Catholic world. You know, we talk about having friends in high places, TJ. It's about as high as it gets.
Literally. How many are there, and how often do we get new ones?
Well, actually, the total number of saints is impossible to calculate. But in terms of those who have been formally canonized, best estimate is there's somewhere around 2,200 in the Catholic Church. And in terms of how we get them, it's a process that begins with a grassroots conviction that somebody lived a holy life. Then the church comes in to investigate. It takes one miracle to be beatified, one more miracle to be canonized.
All right, tell us his one miracle.
This was the healing of a 49-year-old French nun, Sister Marie Simone Pierre Normand, who in 2001 was diagnosed with an aggressive form of Parkinson's disease. And as you know, TJ, there's a nice poetic art there because that's the same disease that John Paul suffered from. In 2005, after the Pope died, she prayed to him for help, and on June 3rd, 2005, she reports that she was healed and has been healed ever since.
All right, and for a lot of folks, Pope John Paul II died in 2005. Here we are in 2011, and he has gotten beyond this step now, being beatified. That seems pretty quick. Is this the way it usually goes?
No, TJ, it isn't. I mean, my joke about that is that usually in the Vatican it takes almost 6 years to open the mail. So the fact that you could get from John Paul's death to his beatification this quickly is extraordinary. Of course, Pope Benedict set aside the normal 5-year waiting period. Other than that, the Vatican will tell you that the official process was followed. But clearly, I think there was a strong desire here to get this done, in part because they were responding to the clear will of the people at the grassroots. And of course, you saw that popular affection for John Paul here in Rome this morning, more than 1 million people turning out to celebrate his life and his legacy.
How difficult is it to confirm these miracles?
Oh, well, the Vatican has a pretty rigorous process, actually. I mean, they say for a healing to count as a miracle, it has to be instantaneous, it has to be permanent, it has to be scientifically inexplicable, and they have a bank of medical doctors in what's called the Congregation for the Causes of the Saints, about more than 60 doctors, actually, who are convened to look into these miracle reports, and if they sign off, then they have a panel of theologians that look into it. Then there's a body of cardinals and archbishops that have to vote on it, and then the Pope himself has to sign off. So they obviously work pretty hard, TJ, to make sure that this is the real deal.
Right. Sainthood 101 with our professor, John Allen, our Vatican analyst, who is there, who has been a part of really an extraordinary day. John, we couldn't have made it through all this without you. Always good to see you. Thanks so much.
You bet, TJ.
All right, you can always find out much more about Sainthood on the CNN website. You can go to cnn.com/belief. On Belief blog there.